you were saying.
What were we talking about?
So we were discussing before we had some technical
Dr.
difficulties.
Mendez and where
so
it
Dr.
started, how it
Mendez,
started.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's funny how when he comes into the room, like he really doesn't seem to know, really much other than, hey, here's some things that have happened.
Correct.
Where in reality, as it seems like everything originated around his office and things that he was doing.
Right.
Now,
I mean, maybe that just talks to the fact that there was nothing he was necessarily doing nefarious.
or in his defense,
No, I don't
he
think
was
anything.
so scared initially, but
Yep.
then when he got to the radio station, he became less fearful and was able to think. But now, that's one thing I noticed was he was still fighting it. You know what I mean? Like he kept going, breathing. Like, you know, he kept catching himself like, oh shit.
Right, 'cause
so
he was trying to
that
stop
could be
saying
muddying
the
his
word.
mental
It
processes.
was
and-
because he eventually turned, or at least we think
Well,
he did. We
yeah.
never got to see him actually turn, but he was stuttering, he was repeating, he was catching himself repeating.
Right.
and trying to
That was
stop
my
it.
question. So to let the audience know where we're at. So there was a scene where he climbs into a window, which I thought was funny that he climbed back out that window.
I can tell you why.
Okay.
Well, he was trying to save them. They
Correct.
even said that in the movie. He was leaving because he realized he was infected. He realized he was going to be changing. So he left to distract because you can hear him going out there and getting the attraction of the zombies that were in the building to leave the building so that those two were not trapped in that room anymore.
Now, because the way I was interpreting that was that him saying Sidney Byers is alive or whatever?
Well, he only did that because that's what was being broadcast. They
So was that him
broadcast it.
turning, or was that him distracting people away? Now, because
Both.
they could have
Both.
easily used that for number two, you know, as a way he got away, because I felt like that was. But that's where I wasn't sure. Was he getting away, or was he getting out like he did? Because he had already escaped it once, right, with his office. Is this
Which-
him knowing, hey, this is we're going to be on, you know?
Which was one of the reasons I didn't give it a 5.
Okay.
It seemed a little too easy that the doctor where this started with happened to find his way to the radio station.
Right, well, especially
And time to
as
explain
supposedly
everything,
the
but-
building either exploded or
Right,
imploded,
right, whatever that was.
or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, but that is another good point. It's like
It was an easy out, but still.
I didn't understand why it was Sydney, whatever her name is,
Sydney Byer.
Byer is still alive.
Right.
It's like, was that just simply something to say, or was there some significance in that?
I think what they were hoping was that it was spreading, and the people were gonna. It was spreading to the people, and then it would get out to maybe military or to somebody, and they'd be like, "Why are they saying Sidney Byers is alive?" And then they look up.
Oh,
who's
because
Sidney-
because
It
they
did.
re-
It was
because
like
they
a-
repeat.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
they're repeating.
See,
Yeah.
and this is the other thing: is the repeating is part of the disease
Yeah.
or
Right.
infection or whatever you want to call it. Is the repeating and something gets stuck and it gets clicked. That's why breaking that is the understanding. In fact, this comes into massive play throughout the whole thing. And I do have some more quotes from the writers and director and whatnot, but it's about changing your understanding so you don't get stuck on a term.
Mhm.
Kill is kiss.
Right.
Kill is kiss. Kill is kiss. If it confuses what you're thinking about it, if it makes you confused, you're saved
Right, because you're at least questioning.
because it's not stuck.
Right.
Your understanding of a term that you think is what's looping in your head breaks, and that stops the looping.
But I guess I didn't get why there were certain words that were significant.
Terms
Well,
of
'cause,
endearment
yeah,
being
kiss-
significant more than
kiss.
others.
But kill is hardly terms of
Well,
Well,
no,
depending
but
on the person.
That's true, and they didn't make
That's
kill
right.
So-
kiss. Oh.
So to
That's for
me,
another movie.
that was part of the reason why I didn't give it a higher rating, which you couldn't go any higher than 5, right? But to me, I loved that he did that. He, you know,
Yeah.
kill his kiss, you know. And what I really hoped they had done is they hadn't kissed in that scene. I feel like
Really?
it would have been like super close, and then I felt like the building could have got rocked. You know what I mean? And then they could have gone back out like they did, gone back out into the booth and all this other stuff.
Okay.
And then ended with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that to me
Well,
detracted.
they did end with a kiss.
They did, but I felt like that should have been the one kiss, right? Like,
Interesting.
because to me that made me feel like, you know, okay, you know, if something could have distracted them and saved that. That was like my only gripe about that part was I get what he was doing, and I saw them moving in, and I thought, oh, just have them break apart.
But I mean,
build
yeah,
up that more sexual tension.
I agree, and I think again that's part of why I gave it a 3. It's I don't know that was, yes, it's a tense moment, but by very fact of, you know, he didn't know, Mazzy didn't know that we didn't really have a helicopter.
Right.
He hadn't been at the station for long,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so I don't know that the tension was there enough that simply by the fact that he talked about Killer's kiss, that's what leads them to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's one thing if it had been like months of tension and months of like, you know, a love-hate relationship or whatever, but it just seemed like
It seemed too easy.
Very easy.
So
very easy.
Okay, so that part, I took that kiss as a kiss of desperation. We're not going to make it out of this situation. You kiss the person nearest to you.
Save that for the end. Though.
I didn't get that. Right? No, I get that.
Right,
Because, because it meant
and
nothing
then-
to me then, but it meant something at the end.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have meant something at the end so much if they didn't kiss the first time. Because the first time he's like, well, that was too easy. But at the end,
Well,
they
and
kissed
I
again
liked- I
just
did-
before as the countdown was happening, before the bomb hit, that makes sense then. And you're like, okay, so
And
they
that,
were
well,
really
and
balanced.
to go further with your point, yeah, the first time it was him leaning in to kiss, right?
No, the first time she kissed him, and then he
Yeah,
got
absolutely.
excited about it and kissed back.
Okay. Because then my interpretation was, then the second time was, you know what, we're not getting out of this. You know, that, and then
It
that's
was
when
her both times,
and that
I
was,
think.
yeah, okay. Because I felt like she was there, she kind of was figuring things out, and then he thought this is going to be what pushes her over
Sure,
the edge.
sure.
So that's why he kind of continued to lean in and actually do the kiss. But I think I did like the next scene from that, where they, you know, went back into their original positions. It's kind of going back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
She's back to being producer. He's back to try and say, we figured it out. You
Because
know?
he's thought he found a cure.
Correct.
Right.
And so he starts doing it, and just the things that he has to say, like, as an actor, that's got to be hard. You're saying shit that's, you know, so you don't understand it, but you're saying it like.
Well,
I'd love to know, like, if that was the original script or if that was just ad-lib
ad-libbed.
with the shit out of this if you can.
Right, because I mean, clearly, yeah, he's trying to come up with the kind of the, is it antonym?
Yeah, well, not
Yeah,
an antonym, but he's trying to confuse one word for another.
Right.
He's trying to break up your understanding of a word.
But like he only gets so far in, and then obviously
Right.
like his brain's like, you know, and then she steps in and goes, okay, well, I'm going to say this. It's almost like word association, right? But clearly,
Very much so.
clearly the reverse of word association.
Very much so.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think that was interesting. So, obviously, you know, we're getting close. Nothing to do with the movie. We're getting close to our time limit that we were.
Oh
that,
my God!
That
Let's
we
check
wanted
it out.
to start
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes from an hour.
talking to.
We're getting there.
So can we switch to? So obviously the movie ends
Mhm.
fairly abruptly.
Yep.
We don't really know what the overall outcome is. Cuts to credits, see the credits, and there is an end scene.
Now, one thing they did do with the credits I liked to keep you there was you could hear things, other radio broadcasts
Yes.
of what was going on
Yes.
in the world, and you know, I thought that was a really, because I'm like, well, why are they doing this? Now
When you
gotta
saw
sit here.
you heard the BBC guy again.
Correct, Nigel or whatever his name was, and
Very British name, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Nigel, tell me about it.
And it
Who
made
would
me
name their kid Nigel.
I know, right?
And the thing was, that kept me captivated. You know what I mean? Like, because now we're back to where things were before. Now we're in their position, right? Because we're only hearing things yet again, but we're not seeing anything. Now we've got to figure out, is this thing spreading? Or are they just lying because they don't want people to know that it's spreading? You know,
Right.
oh, it's nothing like what happened in Pontypool. You know, maybe it was. You know,
Right.
So I did like that, which then brought on to that final end scene. Now, I want to know how you guys interpret it.
Okay, really quick before we get to that, I do want to explain that the trilogy that was planned,
Yes.
and they're still trying to find funding. They're still every year they try to find funding for this. But the first movie was what we saw at Pontypool. The second movie was going to be showing everything that was happening on the ground that they were talking about while you hear the the first movie playing.
Okay.
The movie in theory that had more budget to it.
Correct.
Based on the success of the first one.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you get to see them. Why is it falling asleep again?
Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. We'll have to test that. Maybe it's just the screen that falls asleep. But anyway.
We're still learning.
Eternally learning. But that was what the second movie was. The third movie was planned to be what happens now that the world has gone crazy with this, where meaning of words don't mean anything. So things stop happening. Dogs stop existing because they don't know what to call a dog.
Interesting.
Okay, right. Okay, so now you're lost and you're interested. So, right? So this is the
That's why I
part,
gave it
this is
three
the part of
people.
the conversation. It was 3 barrels, not 3 people. But the point being, that was a
I
total
know.
water
That was good.
joke.
That was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
I tried. But anyway, so that was the point of that. That this was meant to be a trilogy that explained more of the movie from different sides and then a future look into the movie. Do you think that would have helped or hurt the movie? Would your
Depending on
interpretation
the
of Pontypool
release
change?
schedule.
Okay.
So if they had kind of gone the route of, which I know they wouldn't have been able to based on budget, sort of like Two Towers, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
If they had done that, where it's like, hey, we filmed 2 or 3 of them at once, I think that would have been great. The problem is, though, I like, and you mentioned this earlier too, I like that it's in my head. Because now if
Exactly.
I see it,
My visuals are way better than
yeah, if
something
I
else.
see it, oh, that's CGI. I'm going to be more
Right.
critical of it, right?
Okay, so before I answer the question, do you know? Because I guess I didn't see in my research. Do you know whether the ending was filmed, like the ending after the credits, was filmed, like after they had some initial reaction to the movie?
No. We've
Because,
got info.
because in reality, by what you just said, the ending after the credits, to be clear, makes even less sense.
Here we go. Let's get into the ending. If anybody's seen the post, let's jump to that.
Sure.
So there's the ending where there's a countdown where the government of Canada drops a bomb on Pontypool to try to end the scourge, to end the infection. And it just happens to be centered. Pontypool, by the way, is actually a real place.
Outside
Pontypool
of
exists.
Ontario.
It is Ontario. It's right in the dead center of Ontario, not too far north of Lake Erie. It's a very small town. We're talking maybe about 3 miles across. So it really exists. It's a very small town. And it was based on that actual town. The writer was driving through, thinking of a story. They stopped to do a little overlook over a quiet town. As he thought about what he was doing and Pontypool's name, he's like, well, I guess I owe Pontypool a story. And wrote this story. Now, based on that, Pontypool was, not based on that, but Pontypool was destroyed then, I guess, by this bomb. That's where the first movie ends.
In the movie, not in real life.
Yeah.
Pontypool movie, they give a little kiss as the countdown's happening, then you hear the bomb hit, and then it's end. Credits roll, and then we see the 2 main characters, which is, now I'm going blank on it.
Sydney.
Grant Mazzy
Grant Mazzy
and Sydney.
and Sydney, as 2 completely different characters in
Ini-
black and white.
so
Stark black
initially
and
in
white.
black and white.
Stark black and white, like comic book black and white, where they are talking. He is Johnny. Oh, is that anybody's trivia? Dangerous
You
or No Eyes or
yeah.
Evil Eyes? I can't remember now. I'm going
Johnny
blank on his
Evil
name.
Eyes, I think you're right.
Evil Eyes, and then and Sarah the Killer, and they do this little banter back and forth that doesn't make a lot of sense. It sounds like a film noir kind of thing. It's a little obscure. It has nothing. It seems like it has nothing to do with Pontypool.
Right.
And that's the end credits.
And it should be said, as the scene continues, that stark black and white starts coming into color. So think about, if you haven't watched it, hopefully you have at this point. But just that transition from that stark black and white to color, and
We're talking Sin City black and white.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
it's
absolutely.
it's crazy, and it's like, but to exactly what you're saying, it's like I don't know that anything they say in there, in any way, shape, or form, makes sense to what happened in the movie, and certainly the way their 2 characters interact in the movie.
So, a couple little things to note. The reason those two play well together throughout the movie, because let's face it, Stephen McHattie is a deep-voiced, tall man. He's been in a lot of my favorite movies. He was in 300. Do you remember him in 300?
Yep.
He's played a lot of famous movies. I did want to read this one about he was one of the movies he was in. Was one of my favorites. So he was in Torment, which was a great movie. We got to review Torment. The Watchmen.
Oh, love it.
300, and one of my favorite movies, Pterodactyl Women from Beverly Hills.
Nice.
However,
You've all seen that, right?
everybody knows that movie. We won't review that one. But
Unless we get a request for it.
But the
Comment.
point is, he was one of those booming, intimidating people. He's got an intimidating look. He's relatively tall. He's toned. He's not, obese or anything. He's just got a presence. The reason
eyes.
Sidney works so well off of him is that's his actual real wife.
Oh, I didn't
They're
know that.
married in real life. That's why she was actually hired for the job, because they needed somebody to...
Nepotism much?
No. They needed somebody who knew McHattie enough to be able to play off of his
True.
intimidating, deep voice.
Yeah.
Now, that last scene was actually supposed to be the ending to the film.
Interesting. Okay.
The producers had a meeting with them and said, this ending will not go for the movie. This is stupid. We need an ending for the movie. I hate the ending. We hate it. You got to come up with something. This was a Friday afternoon. And they said, well, we can come up with a new ending. We'll go over the weekend. They said, no, we're not giving you money for this if you don't tell us right now what you're going to do for the end of the
Now,
movie.
bear in mind, these are Canadian people, so this was said very, very
Yes, I was gonna
nicely.
say. I don't know if I got any money
come
there
on now. I was
for you.
like, yeah.
Hey.
So the producers said, we want to know what the movie is. They turned in this ending of the movie that you see post-credits, the post-credit ending, as the movie. The producers went nuts. They said, you are ruining this project. You are fucking up the whole thing. You are not making this ending.
Wow.
We are not giving you a single dime to end it. The movie is ending at the kiss.
Okay.
As the countdown happens, which is a very good ending.
Yep.
It's a very satisfying ending.
Yep.
It
Not for them.
doesn't wrap things up, but okay, all right. But we're not paying a dime to anything that happens after that. They walk out. This is Monday morning when they started
No,
filming it.
the whole weekend.
They were. Let's just say he gave them the ending that they wanted. They shot something different, or they were going to shoot something different. They hated it when he proposed it. They showed up at the studio as they're shooting it, said, "You're not shooting this. We're taking the money. Anything after this, we're not paying a dime for." And they left. The director and the writer looked at the rest of the staff and said, "What do you guys think?" And they're like, "We like it." And they said, "Well, we're not getting paid for this." The writers, the entire staff, the directors, the actors, everybody did it pro bono. They were there till 4 a.m. the next day, filming that ending, the film noir. The prop girl went out late at night to find all the props they needed. The set design people built the set
Nice.
just for that. Into the night, they shot it, filmed it, and the only way they got away with it was they added it after the credits. The problem is, nobody knows how to interpret that now.
No, well, and I don't know that I would. Knowing that, it's like I agree with the producers. I don't know the.
Hence the reason you gave it a 3.
Yes,
suck
exactly.
ass.
No, if I was a suck ass, I would have given it a 4 or a 5.
No, you're suck ass to the producers.
Oh, okay.
You're a producer ass.
I'll give you
Okay.
that. But I mean, it's. So okay. So as you gave it a 4 and you gave it a 4, how would you interpret that end scene?
Again, I have research on this. There was a reason that was done that way. Okay, so as we said, kiss is kill, kill is kiss. The way to break the cycle is to confuse what meaning means for certain words.
Right.
To understand, your understanding for things. The only way to stop this virus was to change your understanding of the movie. Everything is different. Pontypool changes everything. So they literally changed everything. The characters became different characters. The lighting became different lighting. The color became black and white. Everything changed to the exact opposite of what they could do to the best of their ability.
Which is why she's wearing probably Asian.
She's got that Asian garb.
Yep.
He's talking like he's a gangster from the 20s or whatever that was. It was to show that everything was different. Now,
so does that mean that they're still alive then?
absolutely not.
Okay.
There's a bomb that dropped on their heads.
Wow.
So, but the thing is, this was supposed to replace the bomb dropping.
Sure.
This was supposed to be the original ending. So they showed it last year. So really what they did is confused viewers. They saw the ending, the bomb dropped, and then they got this. So they didn't know how to take that because the bomb dropped. They thought they were dead. Why are we seeing them in a film noir?
But oh god.
So now
Here we go.
Okay,
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
okay, we're doing this over an hour past our start. We try.
We'll work on
Our
this.
goal
We'll work
is
on
to try
this.
and keep these podcasts
It's
I'm
still,
sorry.
it's
exactly
still a
an
learning
hour.
process.
I'm
Just
sorry.
deal with it.
Okay.
You like this so far.
So
Don't worry about it.
so the problem is though, it's like so the implication from the end scene though is that they're going to do something else. That
Who's doing something else?
as in
The filmmakers.
Mazzy and
Yes, the
and
characters.
Sydney.
Okay.
Like the two characters, they talk about okay, what kind of what are we going to do next? Like what are we doing?
They became something else. So remember, I said that the trilogy was supposed to be the first film, which was what we saw, Pontypool. The second one was the other side of Pontypool, which was in the town itself, outside
Sure.
Mendez's office, whatever, seeing what happened. The third one is the world after the virus took hold.
Oh, and so that scene was basically like okay, this
The
is what
lead-in
this is what
to
everyone
the
has to
world.
be doing.
Correct. Now,
To prevent it.
let me explain this. To find this answer was very difficult. The writer would get violently. Tony Burgess.
Nice.
Wow.
Who's the director?
Wow.
This
guy.
Bruce McDonald.
This
There you go.
guy. When people ask that question, and everybody asked that question, because nobody understood it. Everybody asked the question, what the fuck's with the ending? He would not answer it because he got so pissed off that everybody was asking that question.
But
Now-
you think that would drum up a want, right, for the
So-
2 and 3?
Yes.
One of the reasons later on, he changes his answer throughout life. I mean, this film came out, what, almost 20 years
2008.
ago? Yeah, 2000. Thank you.
Which
So
sadly does not seem like that long ago. Just to say, but
it was. I'm still in the 90s. So anyway, so that came out. He changes his answer as time goes on because he softens. He got so pissed off at why so many people asking this question that he wouldn't answer it. It was very difficult to find an interview with him answering why our logo disappeared from the screen. I mean, why they put that
it's
in.
because we're trying to keep people from understanding. We're trying to help
It's
prevent this from
because
spreading.
He's trying to keep people from
We are
understanding.
professional.
Yes.
We are so not professional.
We are professional.
All right, we're
Okay, we're
working
learning.
toward
So
professional. So
now we're gonna. So I like that. That adds to it to me, to be honest. So
There was
that
another
keeps me.
side to
It keeps me
that.
at a 4. The only downside is I almost wouldn't want to see 2. I would want 3.
Right.
So
Does that make sense?
the
Yeah.
Yes,
writer's
I agree.
favorite out of the 3 was 3.
Okay.
He said that 3 is his favorite because it shows a world that's going to be confusing to a lot of people, and
Yeah.
well,
Well, it's
some
very
people
it's
get
very
it.
28 days later, right?
Oh, well,
because 28
yes.
days later, 28 weeks later, so you kind of see that progression, which I do like that. I want to see that. I would love to see, and I'd almost want to see the way he had the ending, because now, granted, can you do a full hour and a half of that, and people go and understand it? Then I think you're getting into kind of like David Lynch ground.
Oh my god. I was thinking.
You'll
Without
start
a doubt,
seeing people with
Without
bunny
a
heads
doubt.
and shit, so
Without a
have to
doubt.
speak backwards.
yes, yeah. Do you know who I am? Yeah. But that's the other thing is, could you do that? Could you have reversed the English language? Now, the one thing I had this discussion with my wife was that, she said, why was it English? And I said, what's one of the most spoken languages?
Right.
And
Right.
to me that meant shit. Any country you go to, somebody speaks English. So this thing could have spread like fucking wildfire, right?
But let's face this. The English language is one of the most difficult languages to learn. And this,
You what?
let's face this. We have several different spellings for the same fucking sound.
There's only one correct one, and that's the English spelling.
We have
UK
the
English.
Queen's English or the American English. Speak American.
Queen's
Speak
English.
American.
Obviously.
I'll tell you what.
Queen's English. Now, but listen though, but things like in Italy, I'm half Italian. In Italy,
Top off.
thank you. The certain letters together are the same sound all the time.
Yep.
In every word, two Z's are a TZ sound, right? It's the same sound over. In the English language, when you put an E at the end, it changes the sound of that O and the E, and there's differences that change it up. English language is the hardest. Now, I'd argue that Mandarin is probably just as fucked up and hard to learn, but from people who are multilingual, English is the hardest language to learn.
Is it to
I think
learn
that's
or is
why
it
it's
to understand?
Well, it's about the understanding ultimately for the disease, but I'm just saying that it's the hardest to learn because there's too many exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
In Italy, there's no exceptions.
Yeah.
This letter and this letter combo means the exact same sound all the time.
Yeah. Now, this is going to go a little off course.
Well, let's do it, baby.
And this is going to probably get us, I don't want to say it's going to get us in trouble, but, and we can cut this out. This could be a behind the scenes thing if we wanted, but
let's try it.
Do you guys remember what was the name of the place that was possibly being shot up with a hostage situation?
Oh,
In the movie? And we're not talking the Mendez thing? Because I thought it was
no. The original there was a police report.
Right!
With officer.
With the hot. Ooh. Is this a trivia question? Or is this
We'll go trivia with it, but
because we can start.
now this
jump
is
into
the
that.
reason I'm saying this is because, and it's not because I'm trying to start anything, but it's the first thing that clicked in my head. It was Sandy Hook.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The actual thing was Sandy Hook?
The name of the place was Sandy Hook, where the hostage situation
Really?
was.
So this is
They said-
2008.
This
Yes.
is way before Sandy
So
Hook.
there are people out there
What?
that believe that Sandy Hook never happened.
What?
You haven't heard this?
No.
Oh, there's a conspiracy
There's
theory
this
out there.
guy called
Oh,
Alex Jones.
I don't.
You've seen this too?
No,
No.
so
Oh.
I don't believe in this conspiracy theory, but there were people that were saying that all the parents that had been interviewed were all actors. None of the kids died. This was all just a fake thing. But now, when you hear that, and then you see this in 2008 that they're talking about a Sandy Hook
Are you
gunman
sure they said
goes
Sandy
into
Hook?
a building,
Did they say the word Sandy Hook?
they said Sandy Hook.
I'll
Get the
have to-
playback. Get the playback.
We'll have to. We'll double check
I'll
it.
edit
but
this
then,
one.
but that to
We
me,
will
like I was like,
splice that in.
but and even my wife goes, "Did they just say Sandy Hook?" And I just started laughing, and I was like, "Yes," because.
Oh my.
So to me,
God.
somebody went into a hostage situation. They went into a building that was called Sandy Hook with a
Wow.
gun. 4 years prior to
And
because
a-
Sandy
and a
Hook in
hostage
2012.
situation.
Does it
Yeah.
count that it's in Canada though?
I don't know. So I just thought that was interesting. We can cut
Holy
that out. I don't give a shit.
shit.
But that's just something that I was like, what the?
We don't.
Wow.
Let me explain something. We're trying not to.
Yeah.
We're a new
We should
theory with
mention
all
that. Yeah.
We don't want to do any editing. We don't want to cut out anything. We don't want to edit anything. We want
No
this to be as
censorship.
raw as possible.
Yes.
No censorship. No bleeps. This is raw. If we fuck it up and make mistakes along the way, you get to watch it,
And we're allowed
And
to
you can laugh.
fucking swear.
and
as
that's
well.
it. Watch your mouth. But
I'm gonna watch it say the hook word.
or I'll chew it off.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
Now, so this is the point. We're going to try not to edit this kind of stuff. We apologize. We are trying to keep it under an hour, but these two fuckers talk forever, so it's going to be
Well,
hard to keep it under.
to me, I think it shows that this movie, because that was the thing is that this movie ended, and 10 minutes after the movie, my wife was asking me questions. Oh,
That's
he
what
said
the
it,
point-
and that's what I loved about the movie. That's why I gave it a 4, is because it wasn't just your run-of-the-mill movie. Oh yeah, it's zombies. Let's move on. It was it zombies? I don't think it was zombies because they didn't really eat people, and it wasn't infecting other people that way.
They
and I
did
just thought
eat
it was,
people for sure. They
They
did,
did,
eat
but they
people.
weren't. Well, but was it?
But they weren't the dead reanimated back to life.
Right. So the point being the fact, like, and to be honest, that's why I gave it 3 people.
4.
There is no explanation on what the transmission mechanism is, like why this
Okay.
this
Now,
happened.
come on now. It's
Well-
a movie. There's clearly not going to be a zombie virus based on language.
But I love that
I hope.
idea because
But
that's
the point
something
is,
completely
that's
new.
right. It's an idea to inspire conversation, arguments, and debate.
And it,
Not to be
But
reality.
but
it
Don't look
points
at it as
to-
reality.
But why do you think that warrants it as a 4? Again,
because to me, think about it. What are we doing right now? We're speaking things.
Yep.
This is gonna, and
Yep.
people are gonna interpret what we're saying certain ways. They're
Yep.
gonna understand it a certain way.
Yep.
And no matter, and that's why I liked this
Yep.
being our first one, is because you could,
Yep.
anything we say can be interpreted 100 different ways. It can be understood 100 different ways.
You mean like kill is kiss?
Yes.
Kill
So
is
to me,
kiss.
I love
Kill
the fact that hey,
is kiss.
we're talking here about a movie. It's very meta, if you will, because I think that's what the term is that kids say nowadays. But if you say youngins,
We're
that's what-
26 among all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the fact was that this movie made you think more like, holy shit, this is passed not by, and I love how the doctor explained that. He said it's not by what's hitting your eardrums, it's actually going deeper than that.
Correct.
And it's
Right.
actually getting
It's
into your
interpretation.
brain.
Correct.
And then it's going that way. So now then that made me question, is this a physical thing? Or is this just, like you said, caught in a loop? Like
So
suddenly,
think about that. Think about that being part of the whole thing. Is it gets stuck in your head. That's why they repeated things several times, right? It gets stuck based on interpretation. So you hit a term, and that term gets stuck in your head, and you repeat it because you're trying to comprehend it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's over and over and over, and that's what drives you crazy.
But
and
that's
you
where
get stuck. So
that's
that's
what
a
I was
common
confused by
condition.
though. Was
Stuttering.
you understand the word missing,
Sure.
but then you lose that understanding, and that's why it gets looped.
I don't think you lose the understanding. I think that becomes confused in your brain of what that means.
but I mean,
Or is that the only thing you can understand, and that's why you're looping? Eh?
But I mean, it is a funny
I-
thing because it's like, have you guys ever had that situation where, and maybe I'm just crazy, but it's.
Oh, you're definitely crazy, but we love you anyway.
But have you ever had that situation where you say a word repeatedly, and after about the 20th time you've said it, that word, even though you're saying it in the same way, somehow just doesn't make sense anymore?
I get that with spelling
Absolutely.
things. Like
Oh,
I had
yeah.
one point where I was like, "Took? How the hell do you
Oh,
spell it?"
I
I
do
couldn't
that.
spell it for some reason. I was like,
Oh.
"What? Is it O O
T-O-K-E?
T
I
U?"
get that all the time.
It knocked,
Not all.
and I was like in my 20s, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Right,
Like my brain
right.
just went,
Right,
and it
right.
was the weirdest thing. And then finally, I was like, "No, it's T-O-O-K."
Yeah.
And then after I did that, I was like, "What the hell just
Yeah,
happened?"
see?
You know?
So maybe we're talking a combination of things because I am dead set that the lost cat named Honey started it all. But it can't just start it by itself.
Right.
The Mendez drug experiments or
Yes.
whatever started something. But the only thing, the only problem with that is that would mean the drug had to be anybody who took that drug.
Not necessarily.
Why did it spread past that?
Because they were able to spread it by, like basically, if you want to call it that, verbal diarrhea. So that's why all those people, maybe some people were coming back to the doctor's office to be like, something's not right here, and then more people were coming back, and more people were coming back because they're like, this doesn't, because what's
Okay.
the first thing you do? You run to a hospital, right? Maybe
Sure.
they didn't have a hospital.
Go
They
back
knew
to
the
the
doctor.
doctor that
They
started
knew
with.
something wasn't right, but it's not. I don't need to go to the emergency room, so they went to him.
But it wouldn't
but
have
I'm
gone
still
past them.
Right, I'm still with you. It's like, what's the transmission?
Right.
The transmission is, so if you think about it, the first person that should have been infected, which he kind of did at one point, was Grant. Because what happened? The girl, I believe her name was Faraj, which we're going to look past the fact that it was blackface, but
I've got a
we'll say
story with
darkface.
that too.
So,
Right.
so she was the first one, and she said it to him. And he's like,
She wasn't
what?
the first one. She wasn't the first one infected.
No,
The
she was the
infection
first one
going on.
nearest him,
She
though,
was the
right?
first one that was right in the same room with him.
Yes. And he did, at one point, you remember, she comes in and he's looking around and he's like in a daze, and she comes in and says something and snaps him out of it. He's like, whoa, what? Right? Like,
Let's talk about that scene real quick. That scene was Was it The King and I that they were doing, or something similar?
No,
Was it a standalone play?
No. It was something.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Because it's Lawrence and the Arabians.
Oh, right. So they did a spin-off.
And Lawrence was played by
I don't know.
Tony Burgess.
Oh,
The-
okay.
The writer.
So
Correct.
He actually
Correct.
wrote the song.
Correct. He did write the song.
that they quote unquote sang.
Yeah.
And it's.
You read the same article I did.
Yeah. But the point that Lon's talking about is the fact that again, hopefully everyone's watched this movie.
If you haven't by now, we just fucking
Yeah. Just stop.
So they come into this radio studio,
Yep.
and they're in full costume,
Meaning brown face,
in brown face, in a radio
turbans.
studio.
in a radio studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about that.
Let that
people.
think in. Sink
You
in
go
for
to
a
a
little bit.
radio. Do I need to explain that they can't be seen? Do people understand
There
that
might be.
radio mean they can't see them?
Maybe they're infected.
Maybe other people have been drinking
Okay.
as much as we have.
Yes. So.
Which reminds me.
Oh, look at that! Wow.
Faux pas.
Cut off. So yeah,
Eh,
So
eh, bring that
do we
glass over here, buddy.
do we want to do a little trivia?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I've got a few questions. So how the trivia is going to work? This is my favorite part of it.
Woo!
Now,
We love trivia.
I'm going to be honest. I did not put as
Because he hasn't been honest this entire evening so far.
I normally go like hardcore with this. This one, I tried to just enjoy the movie. Normally, I watch a movie twice. This one I've only watched once. Well, I should say twice, but I saw it like probably 2010. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Which, God, it's hard to say that. But basically, what we'll do is I'm going to ask these guys about 5 questions, which is going to test their trivia knowledge of the movie. It's things that happened in the movie, things that are in the movie. I'm sure they're going to get probably most of them because they seem like they're ready for this. And
We've
what I'm going
known
to do
his
is I'm going to
trivia for a
have a
while.
total
live
of
for this.
You're
I'm gonna
like
have a
drifting off the screen.
I'm
You
sorry.
keep moving
There we go.
away from
There.
us. I know he stinks, but you got to move closer.
No, I'm just afraid I'm
But you
going to rip
stink.
my shirt.
Well, you stink like an Englishman.
Oh my
Well, that's
God.
good.
Okay.
You mean like success?
I think alcohol's kicking in. So I'm gonna ask them 5 questions, and then I'm going to post 15 questions in a Google
Ooh.
Form version for just since this is our inaugural one, just to give
Sure,
people,
man.
you know, something to try out.
I'm in on it.
And we'll put that link in the description.
Correct.
By the
And
way, have you noticed how like people do this on YouTube
Yeah.
channels
Yeah.
and they're gonna like display something? We'll
Yeah.
do that if we can. Work
Or
out
in the
how to do
corner.
yeah,
Up
like we
on
said, no editing, so we'll
It.
just
Corner.
yeah, some Ozempic ad's probably gonna run through this. Anyway, so.
Oh, not that one.
So
go ahead.
these questions they can range from super simple to super hard, and I try to do a nice balance between all of them. But basically, I just do this because especially when a movie I feel like this should have rewatch value. I want you to
Agreed.
watch it because the first time you watch a movie, it should be for entertainment. And the second time should be because of my trivia. But I think this will be
You
fun.
learn a lot more in
Yes.
the second viewing.
Absolutely.
Correct.
I
Correct.
will say this: the first time I've seen this movie, long time ago, at the end I thought Mazzy was infected, and his last utterings were gibberish. Watching it again, I understood what he was doing. He was not, or he may have been infected, but he was not.
He was preventing himself from.
He was not just gibberish. He
No.
was trying to break a cure out there, break the virus.
Right, because like tangent to the trivia, and then I swear we'll go right back. But like clearly, there was a point in time where Sydney was infected.
Yes.
Correct. And he believed he cured her, so therefore they broke in and tried to cure everybody else by
So
breaking the airway.
so that brings on the next question, which I know we'll get to trivia, but is this a constant thing?
That's the point.
So is this okay? She's broken it, but now just because she's broken it doesn't mean shit because now she could still get reinfected.
Well, it's not even a reinfected. You never get to understand that value of it because they get blown up at the end.
True.
So even if they did, whether they did or did not figure a cure, has no effect on the world
Well,
because
but,
it continued.
Yes.
but I think to your point, is it a cure or is it a
Stopgap.
temporary stopgap?
Yep. And that's what I liked about it was you don't know.
Sure.
It
You
won't
never,
get out.
they never
it
got
won't
to
get
fish it out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll get to
Okay,
questions here.
all right.
I'm going to start off with an easy one for you. We may do
Glenn
we may do
Fittich.
more than 5, but this will be fun. Okay. What was the kind of scotch?
Glenfiddich. I
know.
just said that.
Now
Whoa!
we're making
Wow.
making good progress.
Yeah, we're gonna kill this bottle.
There was a sign behind Grant.
What
It was
time?
a piece of paper while he was in the booth.
Oh, in the booth. Okay.
There was a
Alright.
piece of paper behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It was in quite a few shots. What did it say?
Kill is kiss. Kiss is kill. Kill is kiss. Kill is kiss.
Was it
Kill?
Lost Cat Honey?
No.
No, but that was a good
That's
answer.
a good
I know.
answer.
Good job.
It actually
That's why-
said.
Good job.
It actually said. So here's the other thing: is those 15 questions that we're gonna post. 5 of them are gonna be on here. So if you listen, then you'll get 5 free.
So you
Pay
get at
attention,
least
people.
5 correct.
There you
Pay
go.
the fuck attention.
Yes. It said engineer on call.
Which is weird because it's like, why would you have that?
Exactly.
What
That's
the
why it grabbed my
fuck is
attention.
that?
Now,
Engineer
okay.
on call. Who the
So-
fuck cares?
Because Laura Lamb was.
Yeah, she was the
Correct.
engineer,
Correct.
audio engineer.
So
The
there you
fuck?
go. Exactly.
Interesting.
So
Now I want to go
Those-
back and
I
watch
would-
it.
Those
again.
Canadian people.
I would
Well,
appreciate it if you
Canadians.
close your screen there so you don't, because you can't look.
Oh.
Okay.
you Dick.
Glenn
What
Rand.
is the full name? What is the full
Glenn
name of the radio
Fittich.
station? What is the full name of the radio station?
CLSC 660.
660 was the station number, but that was not the name. What was the name? KL.
KL.
Oh, the
no,
not the drive. The drive of Chicago thing.
Yep.
We're in Chicago.
Oh my God!
What the fuck?
It's literally on the other
It
side
is,
of the
it's
store.
on the-
I know it is. That's
well,
why I had you flip it.
It's the not the drive. It's the Orient.
The beacon.
The
There
beacon.
you go.
The beacon. The beacon.
And it was CLSY.
CLSY.
The beacon.
Okay. The beacon.
Which, by the way, I did actually look up, and CLSY is a real radio
Is
station.
it in
Yeah.
Pontypool?
No, it is somewhere in Canada
Okay.
because the C, I think the C at the beginning
Big
means
as Canada.
Okay.
But you got your tribute.
Yes.
All
All right.
I
So
Woo.
here's a good one.
right. Oh shit.
Which finger on Grant's right hand did he not have a ring?
On his right hand,
On his right hand.
it was this finger.
It was the middle
It
finger.
was the middle
yes.
finger.
There you go.
Because I remember when he's
I
grabbing
got
the
it correct.
microphone. Yeah. Because he grabbed the microphone, he had ring, ring, ring.
Yep.
I don't know if he had one on the thumb, but he didn't have one on
He
that
did
one.
not have one on the middle
Oh, interesting
Okay.
trivia.
Do you need to answer that?
Answer.
Because you went ring, ring, ring.
finger. Jesus Christ.
So this is what I do, people.
Okay.
Ah,
Let's see. Now, this will be the last one for you guys. This is a toughie.
yeah. Fuck you then.
Written on the wall next to Sydney, which is another reason why I started getting into conspiracy side of things. That gives you a hint. What was written on the wall?
When Sydney was where?
Sitting in the room
What the
when she
room?
starts having her, she starts
So
to.
So the closet upstairs.
Correct.
The closet upstairs where they were
Oh.
locking the equipment closet. She starts writing on the door
Mm-hmm.
a ton of shit.
Yep.
Like she starts off and it's just like, I killed a girl.
Yep.
And then she sits down and the whole door's
Yes.
written.
There was something specifically that I'm looking for, and I gave you the conspiracy hint
That was written that she wrote?
that she wrote.
Well, the assumption is
Well,
she wrote
Jesus
it.
fucking
Because she was
Christ.
the only one in
She only wrote a fucking diatribe.
This one stuck out like a sore thumb to me.
Was it about a sore thumb?
No.
Was it Kiss His Kill?
Was it? Kill is kiss.
Kill His Kiss, sorry. I just started
God damn.
Kill
Kill is
the
kiss.
bars.
Kill is kiss. They only said it like 8,000 times.
You gotta
Kill
say it
is
like it, though.
kiss. I'm gonna say
Kiss is kill.
Elvis is in the building.
No. Said, what about 9/11?
What?
Ah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do you take that for?
So
You think they just decided to put a bunch of weird stuff in there? Do you think there
exactly.
was some
This one
reason?
was like she's sitting here, and it's like literally right here, and that's why I was like, why is that so prominent? Like, and there's nothing really written around it. Like,
Interesting.
if there was stuff up to it, I'd be like, all right, but yeah, that's stuff. So then that
What
the
do you
whole
think
Sandy
the
Hook
reason
thing,
is that?
so,
What do
I
you
don't
think the reason for that is?
But I mean,
I think it's more just to show maybe that's things because obviously she's stuck on kill. You know, I mean things like that.
Do you think it was for fun? That they could have just put that in for
Correct.
fun.
It was probably because, think about it, what a lot of conspiracy theorists are considered nut jobs, right? Because you're thinking outside, oh, this could mean this. It has nothing to, so people are considered crazy. So to her, maybe she was just writing things down and trying to keep her mind up, because that,
Well, that
think
was
about it, you
before
can't,
she got cured or whatever.
and but you don't understand 9/11,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You think you do, right? Oh, this is what I saw that day, all that stuff, but there's some stuff that happened, prior to that.
But she was already totally infected.
No. She did not get infected.
It's because then she
wrote
became
all that
drunk after that.
before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got drunk and then off of the confetti. And then eventually she did start to go, oh gosh. And that's
Yes,
when,
sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking Laurel Ann. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, if that was another trivia, not trivia, insight to the whole studios. The writer and the director, when they were filming, they saw several things that they thought were hilarious.
Okay.
They purposefully put signs all around the studio and everything saying, scary, not funny. Because there were so many things in there that could be very funny.
Okay.
And they wanted all the actors and the staff and the crew not to laugh. Not that they were making something that was silly and ridiculous.
Right.
But things like that, I think, is what they were talking about.
Sure.
They look at that and they start to giggle. In fact, there was an incident where the writer and director were watching this scene that they had just filmed, and they got the giggles about it, and they were laughing, and they had to walk away from the studio to laugh, and one of the production crew came up and said, "What are you guys laughing at?" They're like, "Nothing." They're looking at him and said, "This is scary, not funny." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's why we put those signs up." But I think this was part of that.
Sure.
I think this was them having fun with this. And let's face it, all horror movies, I think, are scary and funny. Because
Well,
they
you have to break the tension somehow.
Right.
Some of my
exactly.
favorite horror movies,
Terrifying.
Terrifier, hilarious, and scary as shit.
Yeah.
Evil Dead, hilarious, scary as shit. I could go on, but the point is, it's all horror movies in general are a little scary and a little funny. So they put studio signs all over the place saying, "Scary, not funny." That's one of those instances because that's pretty funny.
So you don't have to answer this one, but this is going to be a question, and I want to put it out there. What was the number to call if you found honey?
Holy fuck! Who would write that shit down?
There you go. So
Oh my god. See, okay, so you have a chance. Go back, watch the movie, freeze frame it, watch the ending, see, or anytime they mention honey, go back and then you can answer the.
But
the
do
Google
it.
sheet.
Do it honestly first.
yeah, try and see if you can get it first.
Watch
Nobody's
it.
honest. These guys are all fuckers. Watch.
At this point,
They just want to win.
At this
They
point,
just wanna win.
you've already watched it, so now just go and do the quiz, and then you can go back and watch the movie
Yeah,
again.
you're not
and
we're not going to say you're a
and
bad
honestly-
That's a
person because you
good
didn't get
trivia.
it right.
I will say that's a good trivia question.
If you watch the movie again and you still don't get it correct,
Then
I don't know what
that's
to
on you at that point.
Yeah.
But all right, well, we'd like to thank everybody for watching. This is the inaugural,
The inaugural shit show.
And
that
we
we
will get
all-
better.
Yes.
This is our first go.
Yeah, we might get
We
better.
might get better.
Might get better.
Hopefully, we'll get better.
Yeah.
I think it went well. I'm happy with it. I think we had a lot of good points.
Agreed.
You know, it's not an easy movie, and that's why I think we went long, is because it's not an easy movie to understand. Hence,
I still think it's a 3. Because
yeah. So okay, that actually brings up a good point.
Okay.
Anybody want to change theirs?
So no, I don't want to change it because I think, again, I think the problem I have is very much like I was talking about with
'Cause you're
the
British.
with the Scottish, with the Scottish.
Scotch.
The Scottish.
Oh my God!
You make the scotch.
Wow.
I'm helping you out here.
With the Scotch, it's. I think this is a good movie. I remember seeing it like both these guys. It's like I remember seeing it like a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
See,
Big Star Wars fan.
and this was that was prior to a lot of the streaming stuff that was around. So if you found this movie, it was I found it in I want to say it was, God, I don't even know if Blockbuster was around then, but I found it somewhere in like a DVD store. Like that was.
See, I to be honest, I don't even remember watching it when it first came out.
No,
You know,
I saw it. It was a few years after.
I
I
think
a DVD.
And the funny thing, the first thing, and I still to this day, and everybody yells at me because they have no idea what I'm talking about, is I just love saying Pontypool.
Pontypool.
To me, that is like the
Nobody
funniest.
can say it the way Stephen McCann
Oh my God,
says
no,
it.
he does it perfectly. But
Yeah.
for some reason, and I would tell people, and anytime I would talk to people about it, I'd be like, "You got to see this movie." And they're like, "What is it, Pontypool?" And you
Yeah.
just have to
Yep.
say it like that.
But I mean, I think the reason why I give it a 3 is purely for the fact that I think it is very entertaining. I think it is original.
Yes.
But I mean, I think at the end of the day, if I'm really being honest about the movie, it's a movie that I've watched now, I guess, twice. But really, I don't know at this point whether I would say it's a movie that I would watch again anytime soon.
Okay.
Really?
Just because it's like, I don't know, I get that it's original, I get that it has an original take on, like, you know, a zombie
But
type virus
to
type
say I
situation.
get that it's original means you're assuming other people say it's original.
So you're
Do
just-
you not think you thought it was original, right?
So,
You
but
thought it was
you're just being
unique?
critical because you've seen. So now that's the thing is, I wish this just came out, right? Because
Right.
then, you know, and maybe, you know, because we're going to be so big, maybe this will have a resurgence, right? Because I have honestly not seen anything like this. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally
'cause
agree.
the way they explained how it was, because infections with zombie movies, it's like, oh, you get cut and get blood in you, or somebody bites you. I mean, it's simple. Like, this one was more complicated, and even the people in the movie couldn't fucking explain it, right? And I liked that because
the
then it was
writer
like,
can't explain
exactly,
it.
which
The
is
director
good. I
can't
like that
explain
because
But I'm sorry, the fact that the writer can't explain it is not a good thing. It's like at the very
you have
least,
not seen a David Lynch movie.
That's not what I'm talking
I
about.
guarantee David Lynch could explain every single one of his movies, whether
But
it
that's
would make
not what
sense
I'm
to
talking
anyone
about. That's not
anyone
what I'm
else.
talking
made this
about.
movie.
Oh my god!
Oh
Imagine
my
if we
god.
could actually interview David Lynch.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Oh my god!
I would.
All right,
No.
all right.
And I've mentioned.
Put your boners back.
I know.
I-
I'm going to
I-
mention
let's
this. I
finish
mentioned this once
podcast.
before in a separate podcast at some point. If
Which
I
podcast?
ever had, don't worry about that. If I ever had a meeting with David Lynch,
Yeah.
I would love to have breakfast with him in a diner, and to me, not a word said.
With an excellent cup of coffee.
Yes, that's it. To me, that is all I need. And if this podcast gets me to that point, I would be the happiest son of a bitch on the planet. But that's me. He doesn't have to say anything. I don't need to ask him questions. Just to be able to sit across the table.
You have a distorted sense of joy.
But that's what that's how simple things
I'm
are.
with him. I'm with him. It's
Thank you.
it's like there's something about David Lynch. I think the oddness of David Lynch and the oddness of the movies that David Lynch creates, even though it's like, you know, there are I know there are universities around the country and around the world that literally do David Lynch entire theories on what all the movies mean. I don't care. It's like, I like David Lynch movies.
And I think that's why I liked this one, though, is because I got that feeling of, I don't understand it, but I want to, right? You know, you want to figure out, did they live? Did they die? They died, but did it spread? Did they, by them killing everybody off, you know? But now, you know, the people were hearing the boom speaker, or the speaker in the helicopter possibly, so, you know, like, to me, that was, there were so many questions. But
clearly this movie did not end at the bomb exploding, because the plan was that all three movies were written, this whole sequel, and the third one being it spreading to the world.
Yeah.
So clearly this wasn't solved by that. So there's a bigger picture here that we're not ever going to get to see. But
well, when I win the lottery,
okay,
I'll-
you gotta fund
I'll
it.
finance it.
All right.
You're gonna fund this?
I would finance it.
I would fund it. I would, if I had
Yeah.
the money, I'd fund it.
Yeah.
They're looking at crowdsourcing.
Maybe 3. I don't know that I would need to see.
yeah, I wouldn't need to
See
see
two.
what happened.
See the actual
Now,
things you.
They could
That would
merge
be
the two,
interesting.
right? You
Sure.
could merge the two and just show
Little
scenes.
flashbacks,
Yeah, show
yeah.
flash. Now, and don't kill me. I haven't seen World War Z.
Really?
The fuck are you? What
Get it. I was reading the book initially.
The book is literally.
I know, it's
The
nothing
worst thing
like
about
it.
the movie is anyone who's read the book.
Okay.
Because
Well, then I need to watch World War Z.
the movie literally has
Nothing.
Almost
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
Almost nothing.
Well, other than the fact there's zombies in there.
No. The characters are the
Speaking
same.
of
Some the
I get
speaking
it.
of World War Z, I know we went off on a tangent, but did you ever see the cat in the poster? There's a cat.
Oh, we're back to Pontypool.
Okay. Yes.
No?
No. I was talking about
Different
World
cat.
War Z.
World War Z's cat.
I'm
Maybe
so
that cat's
confused.
name was Honey.
Ooh.
Maybe.
So
Okay.
Wrap it around.
I do have a little trivia for you too on that.
Oh.
Okay.
Just to say, you remember the child screaming where Leone was the dying man and
Yep.
sounded like a little baby was trying to escape?
That scared the shit out of me, by the way.
They took those sounds from the movie Alien.
I know.
Did you really?
Oh,
this guy's.
Did
Yeah,
you
I was gonna
really
say
know
he
that?
knew this.
Are you
did
shitting
not.
me? You're
I
just
think
bullshitting.
he had a
Really?
napkin in front of him
Yeah.
with lotion when that scene was on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Did you know because you heard it that way or you read that?
I read that.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I didn't hear it and go,
Alright.
oh my god, that sounds just like Alien.
Well, come on, you were the president of the Alien fan
I
club.
wasn't
in
the
Britain.
president, I was just a member.
He was also a client.
But
So,
the movie
for the
was
millennials,
done to-
there was a commercial back in the 90s.
So at this point, our goal of being under an hour has not happened.
But because
we're
there was so much to
an
talk
hour over that.
Okay.
We're at 2 hours.
Our goal is, as I said before, is to be within an hour. We will fine tune this whole process, and we will get better.
No.
Yeah, we will.
We'll try.
We'll try. Okay, we'll
The problem
try.
is I
It
feel
isn't
like
trying.
when you have a movie
Yoda
like...
says, trying is what it's all about.
Do or do not.
Oh, that's right. He
Yes,
actually says the total opposite.
Yes, because he understood. Oh, maybe he was in Pontypool.
Maybe because he does speak in tongues.
Yeah.
Okay. Bottom line is, I still think this movie is a 4.
Yes.
Because it spurred conversation.
Correct.
3.
It was a unique take on the concept of a song.
Mamma Mia spurred conversation.
Oh, Jesus.
I would still give that
Jesus.
a 1.
I would give that a
Actually, you know what?
point
I'll
5.
be honest.
You-
It's a 2.
You really think Mamma Mia spurred conversation?
That was verbal.
About how fucking bad it was.
But that's not conversation.
Yeah, that's... Well, but any
That's-
publicity is
It's
good
the
publicity.
definition of conversation.
is
It's
not.
the fact that people are talking about
They
it.
weren't talking about it. They were. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so good, yay!"
But what you just said, that is conversation.
Didn't they make
That's
a
not
sequel?
conversation.
They
That's
made a
somebody
sequel to
agreeing
that,
with
didn't
it.
they?
Oh,
They did
don't
Mamma Mia
worry about
too.
it.
It
We're
really-
never
because
gonna
the
review
marketing
those
department really
movies.
went down.
Horror.
Oh.
Did we mention that we're horror based? We are
We
a
are.
horror based.
We will,
You know
don't
what,
worry,
and if
we
we
will
get-
not be reviewing.
There's a
Mamma Mia.
skull up here.
Yeah. And if people want us to watch a movie other than horror, I'm all for it.
If you
If you want
there's
our
no
opinions on
comments-
shit, I'll watch Showgirls. I don't know.
Oh, well,
Oh.
Showgirls.
Well,
That's like one of the scariest movies of all time.
That's different. I would watch Showgirls
I
again.
watch Showgirls just because it's Showgirls.
Elizabeth Banks.
But if you want
No,
me to
it's
watch
fine.
Mamma Mia,
Elizabeth-
we might have to
what's
talk
his name?
about that.
But
Elizabeth.
Berkeley?
Berkeley.
Berkeley, yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
and
yeah.
Showgirls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back to Showgirls. The,
Alright.
the thing that you mentioned, like, literally 2 seconds ago.
So,
Yeah, I was. My mind already was trying to get off of Showgirls.
in the long run,
Oh,
this has been
You
this has been a fun experiment, and we're going to continue, like we said, to fine tune this. It's been fun. I love talking with you guys. This is one of those things where this all kind of started from, we've been friends. We've been hanging out for it's been going on 3 years.
if not
Oh, at
4.
least
It's not
4
4.
years. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where we just kept sitting around just doing this, talking about movies. Hey,
And
we
the-
watched this
and-
movie
and this.
and the alcohol.
this.
And it just came to a point where we're just like, you know what?
We should record this.
We should be probably recording this because people are either going to want to hear this or they're going to totally disagree with us. The Howard Stern thing, disagree with us, and we're going to get hate mail. And I'm loving every minute of it. So this is fun. This is something that we are still working out some kinks, and we hope that you come along with us for this ride. And we're going to do more. And if you have suggestions, we've got social medias set up. We'll put all that stuff in the description as well. I'm not going to bore you with saying that 90 billion times and trying to spell things out. It's a lot easier to click, right? So other than that, do you guys have any last words?
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, so right now, obviously, it's just the 3 of us talking. As some of you may well know, I own Ghoulish Models in St. Charles, Illinois, on 228 Westwood Main Street. Well, good. So
Good.
Throw it in there.
Good. He's the one who said it right.
I know, that's right.
I would hope so.
But so our goal is to eventually make these live podcasts. So we'll have a live viewing of the movie, and then we'll do our review just like you just heard.
Along with a discussion with the group of people that are watching it as well.
Right. But we'll also intersperse those with other podcasts like this of just talking about movies that just we've watched together. We're also going to be doing kind of short form reviews of movies with the idea of you guys picking the movies that you want to see, or you want us to review rather. So that's part of our goal.
That's true, and we do want to center around horror movies. That's a passion of all of ours.
Yep.
Ghoulish Mortals is a monster and horror store. I'm part of Black Martin Brands. We make products for the store. We also
I just
own.
buy the shit.
We also own Monster Purge. Monster Purge is a St. Charles Halloween experience that you should
It is awesome.
try at some point. But that's not really what all this is about. What this is about is because it's three friends who like to drink and like to watch horror movies.
And like to talk
And
about
boy,
those
do we
horror
like to talk.
movies. Yes.
We try to keep this to an hour. We will in the future try to keep them to under an hour. It's really hard.
Like we
because
said, no
we
editing.
Like to talk. My monitor keeps freezing,
I'll get it.
not freezing, but darkening like it's going to shut off our recording. Look, we're learning, people.
We'll get that fixed as well.
We're going to try labs. We're going to get new mics. Lighting, we know the lighting sucks. It's all hanging down. Everybody's got
Believe
a
me, I've
caveman
heard some
brow.
podcasts where I'm like, did somebody just literally hold the phone up to their mouth?
Right. Look, we don't own a bunch of equipment. We're not fancy rich.
We're simple people.
We're
We're real simple.
except for the scotch we buy.
Now, that also something that plays into this. If
What's that?
there's a scotch, or if there's a whiskey, or if there's something that you have tried that you want us to
Oh.
include in this,
It doesn't have to relate to the movie.
no.
If you got a scotch you want us to give a review on, or bourbon, or whiskey, even maybe.
We've already had
whiskey.
Malort. Don't try it.
Not tequila. Please don't do tequila. I don't do well with tequila.
Now they're going to do it.
I
Because you
will
mentioned that.
look. I will say this: we do prefer bourbon whiskeys. We do prefer whiskeys. Maybe not Irish whiskey, but we do prefer Scotch.
No
whiskey.
Jameson's, people.
Scotch and American bourbons. We love.
Was that American or American?
America.
In America, we have certain pronunciation. So if you have a review or you want us to review something, we'll listen to that too. But the point is, we're really into the movies. We really like horror movies. We really like talking.
As you can tell by the fact that I think we're at 2 hours.
We are at 2 hours, I think. But if there's a movie you want us to hear as a review, let us know. We like doing classics. We don't want to necessarily just dwell on classics that everybody's seen and everybody's reviewed and everybody's beaten to the ground. We don't have to do the newest and latest and greatest. If nobody's out there talking about it, great. You want us to talk about it, great. If there's trailers you want us to review, we will do reaction to trailers. Am I sounding too desperate?
No.
Okay, good.
Like we want this to be a channel that you guys want to come back to and listen to the three of us talk, especially mine, because obviously I speak with an English accent, which instantly
Way
is just
more entertaining.
Yes.
way more entertaining.
Way
Sexy
more
as hell.
Yeah,
I want to do
that's
it
what he
right
says
now.
later.
Yeah.
So I do want to end on one note.
One note.
One.
Ready? On a good note here.
Oh, good note.
I just want to let them know that pterodactyls will rise and the hills have
Eyes? No.
the hills have beer, and fetuses are walking through town. Goodbye. Had ended like the movie.
The Pontypool
Yeah,
thing.
it's-
I do have an ending trivia for
Are we
you.
actually ending now, or are we still
No,
recording?
hold on. This is
Oh, I thought we were ending on that.
this
Damn it!
is-
Come on.
This is,
Okay.
this is going to be the post.
Okay, this will be the
credits
extra
ending.
stuff.
That ending in Pontypool with the characters Johnny Deadeyes and
Sarah the
Sarah
killer.
the Killer. They made a movie of those characters with those actors
Okay.
called Dreamland. Look it up.
Okay. It's available.
Dreamland is available now. You can watch it. It's Stephen McCaddy and his wife doing those characters in an entire movie. Why? Because they got sick and tired of people asking about the ending, and they were able to make a movie based on those characters.
Wow.
Okay.
So do we think that Ken actually is a pedophile?
Well, clearly. I mean, they said he was a pedophile.
Well-
Not really.
Well,
Not
so
really,
here's
no.
the thing,
Ju-
though.
just don't
they
leave the
never
kids
really
with
By the way,
said-
it's pronounced pedophile.
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 There's an E in there, so it's
Head.
pedophile.
Head.
So are they pedestrians?
Oh.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians.
Speak American.
Pedestrian. Yeah.
Pedestrians.
All right. So, but
Are we done?
I think we should watch.
Because
I think we should watch Dreamland. Okay, yeah, I'm done.
okay.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
See you again
Look,
soon.
oh, look,
Oh,
and,
love you
and,
this
and
time.
it killed off at the
Perfect timing.
perfect timing. Kill this kiss.
Yeah.